have run every day since 1964. Some people say he's run at least 1 mile a day, and I get really annoyed about this because it's very infrequently that I've run 1 mile in a day. The last time was when I was in a head-on car crash. I got my sternum broken into two, and all I could manage the next day after that was 1 mile. But normally my minimum is 2.5 miles, and hopefully I'll keep this streak going for more years than 50, which the 50th anniversary will be on December the 20th of this year. I live near quite a big hill in a place called Hyde in Cheshire, and my favourite run is to go up there. It's a 3/4 of a mile climb, and when I get to the top I can see all over, almost to the Welsh hills, and up towards Yorkshire, the Snake Pass and the Woodhead Pass, and I normally pause up there just to take in that scenery and enjoy it, and then carry on my run. There's no secret to success in long distance running, and let's take the marathon for instance. There's no secret in that to get the best out of yourself you have to run as far as you can. People will, it depends on their motivation. If you want to be the best marathon runner you can, you've got to experiment with running long distance. I've kept a training log since 1956, and I can go back and see what kind of training worked for me and how many miles a week was most effective for me. I think people should keep a training log. I say to people who are thinking about a marathon, the more running you do, the better you will perform at the marathon, but within reason. You have to learn what the maximum distance training is good for you. When I was running really well, I would have a bottle of Guinness before going to sleep. But I don't think drinking a lot of alcohol the night before a race is a good idea. I've never suffered any sort of hardship during a training session to the extent that I didn't want to do it again. I mean, it's just something that when I was running to work and back for most of my training in my best periods, I just did it, and I was having some success, so that was a big motivator to keep it going. So I didn't need a mantra, but in a race, in a marathon race for instance, when I ran 2:09:28 in the Commonwealth Games in Edinburgh 1970, it was a race where it was kind of the tactics then were, it was nobody ever heard of negative splits. In fact, my split was definitely a positive split because I went through halfway in about 62:35, and by then the people who'd been with me had gone, and it was a matter of keeping going. And I just said to myself, concentrate. I know how the course had been measured. When we came to a bend, I cut across to where the course had been measured. In those days they used to measure the course in the middle of the road, or in the bend that's on the left-hand side, because the rules were you raced on the left-hand side of the road. So it's pure concentration just to get to the finish, basically. Occasionally I will run with other people if it's an event like from a store or something like that, but I do prefer to run on my own. When I was doing 120 miles a week, I was running to work and back, so I had to run on my own. Nobody lived where I lived and nobody worked where I worked, but it was easier to do that. I could do anything I wanted. I wasn't governed by anybody else and their pace. The only time when I had company, which I enjoyed, was on the long Sunday run, and then I discovered that if I'm doing it on my own, after, say I'm running 21 miles, after about 15 miles I used to run out of thoughts, and I'd start thinking, oh my God, 5 miles to go, or whatever. But running with somebody, you're having a conversation and you're sparking ideas and thoughts off each other, and at the time seemed to pass quickly. The advice I would give is to start off slowly. People sometimes think they could do what they would do when they were at school and could run 3 or 4 or 5 miles and suddenly find that they can't do it because they're a bit older. It's just start off by running 1 mile or even less. Run 3 lampposts and then walk 3 lampposts until you get into it. But within 3 or 4 weeks, I think people will find themselves running a few miles and find it easy, and then they can build from there. I understand that these days the elite runners who are being sponsored and being coached and everything must have a carbohydrate and protein drink immediately after a hard running session, and especially immediately after a hard race. I look back and think, well, I never did this, but when I think about my hard training sessions running home from work, as soon as I'd finished my run, I was at home and could sit down and have a meal, which included protein, meat, fish, carbohydrate, fresh vegetables and stuff like that. So maybe I was getting that recovery meal that people say they need now. It was coming automatically. Doctor stands for Doctor of Philosophy, which is PhD, and it's not used often in the UK. On the continent, you can be engineer something or doctor something with the kind of degree that I've got. I never use it when I go on aeroplanes because I hate to be asked to deliver a baby. It's a scientific honour and achievement, I should say. And I just use it more in fun, actually, because I sometimes sign myself off Dr. Ron. Well, Simply Sports has been a good customer of 2 of the companies I founded. One is Ron Hill Clothing, and the other is Hilly Socks. And as I say, they've been really good customers, and it's not the first time I've been down here to enjoy the company. So that's why I'm involved in trying to create some publicity, good publicity for this event.